Hello everyone! Today I want to share my Xiangling build and her team compositions with you in this short guide. I'm starting with the build, then go over her team compositions and show some gameplay at the end.
Born of Ice and Frost. Enhanced Animal Module 75. Teamwork is dreamwork. This is long overdue. You're toast!
Xiangling uses a pretty standard DPS build, just high attack, crit rate, crit damage, in her case obviously a pyro damage bonus, and I would at least build 180% energy recharge. She is pretty energy hungry and she even uses the emblem set, so you get a little bit of damage in return for building this stat. You could go for like 200 even or 220%, but I wouldn't go higher than that and sacrifice other damage stats. For Elemental Mastery is a little bit preference. If you play something like Melchor Ganyu, she obviously gets no value from this stat, but if you play something like a National Comp, you actually finish quite a few reactions with her and you could build a little bit. You obviously can still build her as a physical main DPS, but this build pretty much hasn't changed since the launch of the game, so I'll just link to my old video in the description if you're interested in this. This video is just meant to be a little update on the support build with all the new Inazuma artifacts and weapons, which made her go from an good support to an amazing S tier support. And with that being said, let's get into talents. The priority is Pyronado first, then Goba, and if you're just using her as a support, you can ignore the normal attacks. For Constellations, most of it is just a personal damage increase. She decreases pyro resistance and increases pyro damage for your party, but I don't think she pairs really well with other pyro characters, so it ends up being just a personal damage increase in my opinion, most of the time. One thing to note is her Constellation 4 is really good because it increases her Pyronado's duration by 40%, which is insane. If you have this, you should definitely consider building this character. As for weapon choices, it's actually quite easy these days. Everyone has access to the catch and you can just get it from fishing. It is actually incredible. On the Elemental Burst skill, it deals as much damage as if she was wearing the Skyward Spine, for example. But if you have a 5-star weapon, it's obviously still worth using because it just deals so much more damage on the Elemental skill still. And if you don't have a 5-star weapon and someone else is using the catch, you can still use something with energy recharge like a Favonius Lance or a Sacrificial Lance. As for artifact choices, we already covered a substats earlier, and for main stats I think it's almost always attack percentage here. Obviously if you have a lot of attack percentage substats and no energy recharge, you could consider going energy recharge main stat here. Always pyro damage bonus here, and always crit rate or crit damage, whichever one balances your build better in the last slot. For the set effect, I think there's only one real choice for endgame, and that is the new Emblem of Severed Fate set. It's probably not that new anymore. And in the beginning you can still pair a Noblesse set, a 2-piece effect, with a Gladiator set, for example. For team compositions, Xiangling is obviously a support sub-DPS character, so you want to pair her with a second support, a healer and a main DPS. And Xiangling is a pyro character, so she pairs really well with the most popular healer, Bennett, to get that free pyro resonance. But in theory, any healer works. And as your main DPS, you want to have something that provides good elemental reactions with pyro, for example, Vaporize with Child, Overload with Raiden Shogun, or Melt with Shonyun, Ayaka, or Ganyu, for example. And your last support, since you're running so much elemental damage, you want to lower the elemental resistances with an Anemo character and the Viridescent set effect. For example, Sucrose, she also buffs your elemental mastery, or Kazuha, who buffs the elemental damage. This is a very popular comp called Melchor Ganyu because you apply Pyro first with Xiangling and then melt it with the Ganyu charge shot. And then there's a second very popular playstyle with Xiangling. It kind of re-emerged with the release of Raiden Shogun. It is a quick swap team called the National Team. Your main DPS is obviously Raiden Shogun. In the old variant it was Shonyun. And the last support is Jingshou. And you rotate through all your characters a lot, use your elemental skills and elemental burst skills, and you do a lot of elemental reactions. And now for the showcase. I'm showcasing the national team, which is actually quite fun because it's very fast paced and you're pressing a lot of buttons constantly. And I go here because the Ruin Guards unfortunately don't have enough HP. So you press the Elemental skill on Raiden first to increase the Elemental Burst skill on your team. Then you use Bennett to buff up the damage with the attack buff, and then you just press every button that you have. And go back to Raiden, activate the Elemental Burst skill, and just keep attacking and restoring the energy on your team. And when it runs out, when she puts her sword back, there it goes. You should have your cooldowns almost back. 2 seconds on Xiangling, and you lead with Bennett anyway, so it should line up pretty well. And for now, I'm gonna leave you with some Abyss gameplay, a Melchot Ganyu team, probably the team comp that I played the most by far, and I come back at the end of the video.
Swirl, Mark 2. Stand clear. Absorption test. Stand clear. Animal hypostasis emulation. Teamwork is dreamwork. Hey, yeah. I did right, kid. We're way behind schedule. Animal test 63. Boba, get them.
Alright, so we made it to the end. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own builds. And I decided to remake this guide now because obviously Xiangling is currently available on the Ito banner, and I think my old one was a little outdated. Anyway, Merry Christmas and also a Happy New Year. I'm not sure if this will be my last video, so you might get multiple New Year wishes from me, and who knows. But anyway, stay tuned for more videos, have fun and David, and bye bye.